Texas football traveled to Atlanta trying to win the SEC in their first year in the conference. Texas volleyball started their NCAA tournament journey right here on UT campus, and the UConn Huskies came to town showing the horns why they've won back-to-back natties. All of this and so much more on the fall 2024 semester finale of College Press Box. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of College Press Box. I'm Nolan Clay, co-hosting with Tyler Strempel, who will join us shortly. Before we get started, we want to remind you that College Press Box is brought to you by Cat Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at catmetro.org. This past Saturday, Texas wanted more than the SEC championship. They wanted revenge as they prepared to take on the only team that beat them this season, the Georgia Bulldogs. Here's how it went down. It was a beautiful day in Atlanta, and the fans were ready to watch the two top dogs in the SEC duke it out for the conference title. Picking up in the first quarter with Quinn Ewers dropping back to pass and firing one off the chest of Isaiah Bond as he watches it get picked off by Dalen Everett. Not the start Texas wanted at all. Midway through the first quarter, Quinn Ewers launching it on 3rd and 13 and finding Matthew Golden for the 50-yard catch and run, which will help set up a Burt Auburn field goal later in the drive. Later in the first, Ewers gets flushed out of the pocket, but is still able to find Matthew Golden again, who makes an incredible acrobatic catch for a 32-yard gain. Golden had 107 yards in the first quarter alone. Later in that drive, Sark pulls out the trickery on 4th and 1 with a between-the-legs direct snap to Jaden Blue for the first down. That would lead to another field goal. It's 6-3, and Texas in the second quarter as Silas Moore takes the blow and holds on to make an incredible catch. Look at the concentration right there from Golden. Burt Auburn with another field goal attempt, but this time he misses wide left and Texas leaves the drive with nothing. Ending off the first half, Carson Beck rolling out and trying to throw a Hail Mary, but he gets clobbered by Trey Moore. Texas tries to lateral it around, failing to score, but the big storyline was that the hit by Trey Moore knocked Carson Beck out of the game. So, in came Gunnar Stockton, and he put his stamp on the game immediately, right here, finding Lawson Lucky, who makes an incredible toe tap grab on the sideline. And as you can see right here, just incredible footwork from the wideout. Georgia was able to cap off the drive right here with a 10-yard run from Trevor Etienne for the first touchdown of the game, giving them a 10-6 lead. Later in the third, Burt Auburn tries to cut the lead down to 1, but right here he misses wide left again. It really just hasn't been Auburn's season. Georgia has all the momentum and it would only grow as Trevor Etienne would rumble his way into Texas territory on a 48-yard rush, sending all the Georgia fans in Atlanta into a frenzy. Texas will hold Georgia to a field goal and then tie it up here on a beautiful RPO read from Quinn Ewers, who finds DeAndre Moore on the slant, who jukes his way into the end zone, knotting it up at 13 apiece. Kirby Smart sensing the momentum shifting again, and then pulls out the trickery with a fake punt, catching everyone off guard. That led to another Georgia field goal, giving Georgia the lead. So now Texas needs to respond, but they don't, as Quinn Ewers gets picked off by Dalen Everett for the second time this game. However, don't leave just yet though, because as they've done all season, the Texas defense rises again right here with Jahdae Barron getting another interception, giving Texas some much-needed life. Thorpe voters, are you watching? With the clock winding down the fourth, can Burt Auburn redeem himself to tie the game? Yes, he can. To overtime we go. Texas drive stalls out in OT again, and this time Burt Auburn just barely sneaks it in, giving Texas the lead 19-16. A touchdown wins it for Georgia now. So here's Gunnar Stockton on a QB draw, getting the first down, but also getting blasted by Andrew Makuba, who was initially flagged for targeting, but as we can see right here, he leads with his shoulder, so there ends up being no targeting. Stockton's helmet comes off, so Carson Beck has to come in to finish off the drive, but Trevor Etienne says, "I'll do it myself," as he powers his way into the end zone, winning the game for Georgia in overtime, 22-19. A hard-fought defensive battle from Atlanta. What a game. From TSTV Sports, we would like to thank the Moody College of Communication and the Center for Sports Communication and Media, along with our TSM advisors Frank Serpis and Jordan Knoll here on campus for sponsoring our reporters who had the privilege of traveling to Atlanta to cover the SEC Championship. Here were the collected thoughts from co-sports director Joseph Dovey, Gabriel Silva, and Justin Guzman. Texas is not the top dog yet in the SEC. Thanks for your coverage, gentlemen. For more analysis pertaining to the college football playoff rankings and where Texas goes from here, I'll turn it over to Tyler. Those are very insightful takes, Tyler. Thank you very much. When we return, we'll be talking about Texas volleyball's tournament. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thanks, Tyler. I'm here with Justin Guzman, rejoining the show to update us on the NCAA tournament performance. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. It was a good weekend of football and volleyball, and it's always good to be back on College Press Box talking some volleyball.
Absolutely. So let's get started. Texas volleyball rejoins the Sweet 16 for the 19th season in a row and is attempting to win 3 consecutive national championships. What went right for the Longhorns this weekend?
Well, one of the things that went right is obviously the home court advantage. Texas gets to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament on most years, and that's always a big advantage. UT Arlington, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and USC all traveled to Austin, and all of them ended their season in Gregory Gym. Texas swept A&M Corpus Christi on Thursday to start it off, and the Longhorns got the momentum and confidence they needed to make it far in the tournament so far. Mariana Singletary came into this season with big shoes to fill after Asia O'Neal went pro following her 2 national championships. It's clear that she has all the confidence she needs now, and her slide is nasty as she continues to be a huge threat around the net when it comes to blocking opponents, only giving opposing offenses so much to work with. Singletary finished with 16 kills and 6 blocks against A&M Corpus Christi and USC. The corners have also gotten stronger thanks to 2 people, Jenna Wennis and Reagan Rutherford. Wennis has struggled defensively, but at 6'1", she still manages to dig it. As for the lefty, I don't know if you'd rather dig a line or cross shot from her because she manages to do it all. Rutherford finished with 14 kills over the weekend, and Jenna Wennis put up 13 of her own against USC. Speaking of USC, this could have been a tough one for Texas, but they ended up sweeping the Trojans too. The key thing here is that Texas didn't put USC in an early grave like they did against the Islanders. Texas had to battle late into sets, winning 26-24, 25-20, and 25-22. Instead of getting shaken up, however, the Longhorns fought and they played clean throughout. If they can continue that, they can end up with the three-peat when it's all said and done.
Absolutely, and Texas have had their struggles this season, but they seem to be peaking at the right time for sure. On to the next question. Texas ended the conference play with a record they weren't hoping for. Texas lost at home for the first time in over a decade, but it seems to have turned around for the most part. Who is the game changer for this team?
Well, there's a lot of people capable on this team of changing the game, but there's only one name that comes to mind when you think of completely changing Texas's vibe on the court. Madison Skinner has given us looks of playing like herself, but this weekend made you remember how fun it is to watch Skinner when she's having fun. On the net, in the back row, or serving, Skinner is always the reason Texas dominates, and she was the reason they dominated this weekend. Defenses know what Skinner is capable of, but she was able to alternate speed and swings and target different parts of the court all weekend long, putting up 15 kills against the Islanders and 23 against USC. Skinner also put up 5 blocks and put up an ace against the Trojans. Skinner is no stranger to the NCAA tournament, and her last appearance may just be her best yet.
It's so good to see Maddie Skinner playing. I don't know if you saw the feature story piece on her.
Absolutely.
It was so beautiful. Really good story, and I'm just so glad to see her playing well. What else is left for Texas, and who do they face next?
Well, there's a lot of ways the bracket could go, but Texas is just 3 wins away from a national championship game, and they're going to have to get through a pretty stout Creighton team first. Former Kentucky Wildcat and old teammate with Madison Skinner and Reagan Rutherford, Elise Gutzinger has led the Blue Jays to an 18-0 conference season. They also swept North Dakota and Ole Miss to get to play Texas this Friday. If Texas gets through them, they'll most likely play Penn State next. After that, they could face Nebraska or Wisconsin. Two absolute powerhouse programs with revenge in mind, given how Texas has ended their seasons in recent years. The last possible outcome is a third matchup against Texas A&M if they're able to pull off a couple of upsets. A&M split the series with Texas this season 1-1, with each team winning on the road. And I know Texas fans will absolutely get up for a game like that. Texas's path is incredibly tough, arguably the toughest it's been since they started their run a couple years ago. But this is a squad that can accomplish a whole lot in the postseason, and I would not doubt a team coached by Jared Elliott and led by Madison Skinner.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Justin. Back to you, Tyler, at the desk. Welcome back to College Press Box. Rodney Terry entered Sunday evening's contest 7-1 in 2024, desperate to have their biggest win of the season against the UConn Huskies. Our reporters Aaron Vila and Debony Serta covered all of the action.
Debony Serta.
Texas just came up a little bit short, but hopefully this could be used as a way to improve. Thanks, Deb and Aaron. For more, let's go back to Tyler. Thank you, Tyler and Georgie. When College Press Box return, we'll take a look at the past week in Longhorn sports and look forward to what's to come. Stick around with us on College Press Box. Welcome back to College Press Box. Let's take a look at this past week in Longhorn sports. On Thursday, Texas women's basketball suffered their first defeat of the season, losing to Notre Dame in overtime. However, the Horns were able to bounce back on Sunday, beating James Madison on the road 93-62. Madison Booker led the way for the Horns, scoring 21 points on an extremely efficient 10-for-13 shooting night. Texas looks to start up another winning streak as they take on the Southern Jaguars on Wednesday at the Moody Center. The future is bright for Texas football as Sark and the rest of the Texas coaching staff were able to bring home the #1 ranked 2025 recruiting class. The Longhorns were able to sign 24 players in the early signing period, with 10 of them being top 100 ranked recruits. Texas added the cherry on top when they shocked the recruiting community, securing the signature of D-line recruit Justice Terry, who's from the state of Georgia. The next National Signing Day is on February 5th. Now let's take a look at this week in Longhorn sports. On Wednesday, women's basketball plays Southern University at home. That's at 7 p.m. on SEC Network Plus. Thursday, men's basketball plays at home against New Mexico State at 7 p.m. also on SEC Network Plus. Friday, women's volleyball plays in the Sweet 16 against Creighton at 12 p.m. That is on SEC Network Plus as well. Now, and then on Sunday, we have a doubleheader with women's basketball and men's basketball playing. Women's basketball goes to Richmond at 12 p.m. on Sunday on ESPN+. Men's basketball is going to go against Arkansas Pine Bluff here at Moody Center. That will be at 2 p.m. on SEC Network+. And on Thursday, if women's volleyball is able to defeat Creighton, they will play the winner of Penn State Marquette at 7:30 on ESPN.
And that will conclude this week's edition of College Press Box. Please make sure to like and share this video if you're watching on YouTube. And also follow our TSTV Sports accounts on our Instagram, X, and YouTube. Thank you to everyone in Master Control, our analysts, our executive producer, Joseph Duffy, and our many members who have made this show flow smoothly with their weekly episodes. I'm Tyler Strimple. He's Nolan Clay. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, and see you next semester.